Vasyl Kryachok is putting the final touches on the score. His Renaissance chamber orchestra is playing in Kyiv, a few meters from Maidan Square, a long way from where it was created 35 years ago in Mariupol. In April last year, the 70-year-old music conductor fled his home due to the Russian invasion. He still remembers the 2 months he spent living through the airstrikes that destroyed much of the port city. Among the most harrowing episodes he and the rest of the world witnessed was the bombing of the municipal theater in March 2022, which led to the deaths of hundreds of civilians who had taken refuge inside.
Everyone who managed to escape the theatre came to the Philharmonic. They had very little clothing despite the sub-zero temperatures. We rushed to the theatre, we heard screams, but what could we do? We couldn't lift the concrete blocks.
These archival videos of the Mariupol Orchestra show a concert given just before the war. Some of these musicians left, but most remained, choosing to live under new pro-Russian authorities. Today, Kryachok is showcasing work from Ukrainian composers. From contemporary to Baroque, he turns his attention to music that is rarely performed, often overshadowed by pieces from Russian composers.
All Russian composers belong to the world's cultural heritage. But because of their Russian origins, I refuse to conduct their music. Russian music is a no for me. Every time I stand on the podium, it's a no. No one's forcing me, it's just my position, which might be difficult for everyone to understand. Time will tell if I was right.
The Renaissance Orchestra returns to the stage made up of new faces. Musicians who have fled Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kharkiv. Even some from Kyiv have offered to lend their talents. Among them is Andriy, a violinist with the Ukrainian Symphony Orchestra.
I couldn't refuse. I knew Vasyl Kryachok's story and what he and the orchestra endured. When he asked me to help with the orchestra, perhaps to replace him, or simply to play with the orchestra, I couldn't refuse.
For other members, leaving the orchestra was not an option. Like Natalia, who joined the ensemble 30 years ago. Today, she dreams of playing in Mariupol again.
I think the first chance we get, we'll go to Mariupol and hold concerts there. It will be so wonderful. This hope is what allows us to continue living and working.
Допомагає нам зараз жити, допомагає працювати. Як то так.
The orchestra's last performance in Mariupol was just a few days before the start of the Russian invasion on February 24, 2022. Since leaving, Kryachok has performed several concerts in Kyiv. This evening, the audience is full, a sign of growing support for the orchestra.
I was supposed to be working tonight, but I cancelled everything to come here. I knew I had to be at this concert to support these people. It's about the rebirth of Mariupol, not physically, but spiritually.
Моя матуся народилась в Маріуполі.
My mother was born in Mariupol. I haven't seen her in a long time, since she lives in the occupied territories.
Сьогодні дуже приємно, що
These musicians come from there.
цей гарний колектив з Маріуполя.
Our thoughts are with them. We will return to Mariupol.
І ми повернемось.
Renaissance will be touring around Ukraine and Europe. But for Kryachok and many of the musicians, the ultimate dream would be returning to play in Mariupol. A dream that feels distant, with the war that continues to rage in the country.